and welcome to Titanium Talar's Tarot, and today I will be doing an Are You Knocking Yourself Out of Your Intuitiveness video, and how. Alright, so for this I'll be using some concepts brought to us by Christopher Duncan in his program SuperConscious Education. I will also mainly be using my intuition. And with that being said, my gorgeous triple-tayers, let's get into my insight. So if you're anything like me, I don't know, man. I got a gigantic rash. And I think it's because of my table. Because, I'm right-handed. And so I always put my arm like this. I always put my arm like this. And, on all those areas, I got a bump. And that, to me, is a sign that maybe it's the French words coming to mind, le frottement, which would be the rubbing, that is causing the rash. Because oddly enough, I don't have rashes on my left side. I have it on my right. Things might be happening out of the ordinary, which seem like it might be caused by some bug or something, but it's actually caused by a different material. So instead of going crazy, just take a moment, relax, use your discernment, be able to come to a conclusion, the best conclusion for you. And that's a hickey that was given to me by a seatbelt. If only it was an actual hickey, but it's my skin got caught in the seatbelt. Never happened before, but it did. So what I'm saying is that all little things are happening, at least to me, and they're not that important, but it might seem important to everyone around you, but it's not that important. So just take everything with a grain of salt. Don't go batshit crazy because stuff is happening. Allow things to happen and try not to get flustered by it. It is what it is. It's not the end of the world. So just cool, calm, collectively, in a manner that is collected, be discerning of what's actually going on, okay? So that is what I have for my insight. So the first group of individuals I'll be divining for are my perfectionists, the individuals who intuitively know how things should be done in order for them to turn out great, okay? So please, God, angels and guides, everyone for the highest good who has a message for my perfectionists. Please show me a yes. Yes. Please show me a no. No. Please show me a maybe. Please show me a possibly. Okay. So, for my perfectionists, alright, please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my perfectionists, please come forward and share. Are they knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? So, I'm getting a yes and a maybe? Go. Alright. So, please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my perfectionists, please come forward and share how might they be knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week. We have universal signs pointing upright and choice through no. Wait, where is it? Where's the other half of this? Conditional choice. Yes. Okay. So, for my perfectionists, I'm getting that if you're following universal signs, it's because you are, that's where that's coming from. Okay. You're following universal signs. So, my mind went elsewhere. Okay, so my perfectionist, by following universal signs, you are knocking yourself out because you aren't necessarily listening to what your intuition is pinpointing out to you. Yeah. And see, notice I did mention that I had rashes, but they were specific rashes. Where are they placed? They're placed on where I put my arm on my table when I'm trying to chillax during parts of my reading. You see? So you gotta use your discernment as much as universal signs that everyone might think that, oh, that might be bed bugs, or that might be bugs in your apartment. No, you have to use your logic because it's easy to write it off as such. But if you use your discernment, because these things happened mostly yesterday when I was filming for my video, okay, and it's by contact with my table that it's coming about, and I'm not sure how my body reacts to latex. That's the thing. But there's also other moments during my time where I've noticed that I get rashes on my body part, on my body, where I've worn latex. So it's use your discernment for this is what I'm getting at, instead of following universal signs that other people are pointing out to you. Okay, now, so the other thing that came out was conditional choice, right? So it is your decision. That's what I'm getting at. It's your decision if you're gonna go batshit crazy over little things, or if you're gonna take the time to sit and think and discern. Where did this come from? Why is this happening? Where did my body, in my case, you see, what has that area of my body been in contact with? Has this happened before? What's going on? All those things, okay? So that's it for my perfectionists. So now on to my helpers, the individuals who intuitively know how to assist anyone in any situation at any time. So please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my perfection, for my helpers. Are they knocking themselves out? I get a maybe, yes, that's new, and a that's new. So please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my helpers. How might they be knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? Universal signs, indirectness, reaction versus response in the reverse. So you're trying to respond instead of react, which is okay. So in this case, I feel like you're trying to do the opposite of what you usually do. You usually react. So you're trying to respond instead. And of course, the first couple of tries will not be so well received, because it's new, it's something that you're trying to do, and you're trying to take on a new habit, and you're basically at the conscious competent level, because there are 4 levels of learning. There's unconscious incompetence, or unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious competence. So what you want is to get to unconscious competence mastery, where you don't even have to think about it anymore. But for you to get there, you first need to go through all 3. And the place where you're going to spend the most time is the conscious competence. And that might take forever. If you continuously are like, okay, so what I want is not here yet. What I want is not here yet. What I want is not here yet. Why is that so? Do not care. It's going to take the time that it takes to get from conscious competence to unconscious competence. Let it take the time it takes. Let it. Okay? So, and for indirectness. Okay. Notice how I got my elbows on here, and I also have like rashes on my elbow. Anyway, so what I want to say is the next one is indirectness. So you're trying to be indirect about how you're going to get about to reaching your intuition, and that might not be helpful, is what I'm getting. It's like you're doing this instead of doing this. It's extra effort you don't need to do, especially in this heat in Quebec, in Montreal. Okay, it's just like, why exert extra energy? Why? I don't get it. Okay, so that was it for my helpers, alright? So now on to my achievers, the individuals who intuitively know how to set goals and go about achieving them one by one. So, please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good, are my achievers knocking themselves out? Are my achievers knocking themselves out? Yes. I feel like it's a yes because of outside circumstances that are trying to grab your attention, or internal conditions that are trying to grab your attention. You aren't necessarily putting the importance on the right thing at the moment. You think that the other things are more important when they're not. Yes. Okay, so. So, the only other thing is, people who are working with you need to understand, you might be slightly younger or slightly less mature than the people you're surrounded by, and those individuals need to understand that it's going to happen. But you also have to understand that if the people around you lose patience, it's completely normal. You have to elevate yourself, because they might be at a much more mature level. You have to, up your game, is what I'm getting. Okay, so for my achievers, please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my achievers, please come forward and share how might they be knocking themselves out of their intuition this week. And you got reaction versus response. So you're trying to be, you are trying to make a choice because it's the best choice. Basically you're avoiding choice through default. You're trying to use your skills as masters in something when you're not a master yet. So it's like it's futile, it's just French for it's futile. It's like, what's the point? You're not even at that point. Why are you even trying? Why are you even trying? Well, you should try. Well, or should I say, you should try, but you should not be discouraged because you're not there yet. So this, I get it. Okay, so this is basically part of the learning process. So don't lose heart, don't lose faith. Okay, it's a part of the process, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So it is part of the process. I've never gotten this in a reading, by the way. It is part of the process. It is part of the learning process. You need to go through this stage for you to get to mastery, is what I'm getting at. You need to. Okay, my achievers. So please be patient with yourself. Don't lose heart. Don't lose hope. You're getting there, is what I'm arriving at. Okay, so that was it for my achievers. All right. So now on to my achievers, the individuals who intuitively know how to set goals and go about achieving them one by one. So, please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good, are my achievers knocking themselves out? Are my achievers knocking themselves out? Yes. I feel like it's a yes because of outside circumstances that are trying to grab your attention, or internal conditions that are trying to grab your attention. You aren't necessarily putting the importance on the right thing at the moment. You think that the other things are more important when they're not. Yes. Okay, so the only other thing is people who are working with you need to understand you might be slightly younger or slightly less mature than the people you're surrounded by, and those individuals need to understand that it's going to happen. But you also have to understand that if the people around you lose patience, it's completely normal. You have to elevate yourself because they might be at a much more mature level. You have to, up your game, is what I'm getting. Okay, so for my achievers, please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my achievers, please come forward and share how might they be knocking themselves out of their intuition this week. And you got reaction versus response. So you're trying to be, you are trying to make a choice because it's the best choice. Basically you're avoiding choice through default. You're trying to use your skills as masters in something when you're not a master yet. So it's like it's futile. It's just French for it's futile. It's like, what's the point? You're not even at that point. Why are you even trying? Why are you even trying? Well, you should try. Well, or should I say, you should try, but you should not be discouraged because you're not there yet. So this, I get it. Okay, so this is basically part of the learning process. So don't lose heart, don't lose faith. Okay, it's a part of the process, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So it is part of the process. I've never gotten this in a reading, by the way. It is part of the process. It is part of the learning process. You need to go through this stage for you to get to mastery, is what I'm getting at. You need to. Okay, my achievers, so please be patient with yourself. Don't lose heart, don't lose hope. You're getting there, is what I'm arriving at. Okay, so that was it for my achievers. All right, so now on to my investigators, the individuals. All right, so now on to my investigators, the individuals who intuitively know what to research, how long to research it, for what aim and what purpose. Okay, so please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my investigators. Are they knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? Yes. Maybe. Outside forces. Oh no. Yes, maybe. Outside forces, yes. Taking your attention away from what is actually of note. Okay, so please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my investigators, please come forward and share how might they be knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week. And you got choice through default, reaction versus response. But the choice through default is in the upright, so you're trying to avoid doing that. Well, I'm intuitively being guided to say you're trying to avoid doing that. So trying to avoid doing that, and you're trying to do something you don't usually do. So yet again, you're going the new path, the path less traveled, and it seems like you're not following your intuition because it's out of your norm, but which is something I've picked up in the other readings as well. So it might come off as not genuine, but it's not that it's not genuine. It's new genuinity that you're trying to put into place, but it's taking time for it to look genuine. So people don't see it as genuine. They see it as fake, but it's only because you haven't practiced it enough times to look like you are masterful at it. Yes, that is what I'm getting at. Okay, so that was it for my investigators, okay? So now on to my loyalists, the individuals who intuitively know what to be loyal to, how long to stay loyal to it, for what aim and what purpose, okay? So please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my loyalists, please come forward and share. Are they knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? I get a yes, a maybe, a no, and a possibly. Now, yeah, so I asked, is this them at different points in time during the week? It said yes. So you gotta watch yourself before you wreck yourself, is what I'm getting. Okay, so please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my loyalists, please come forward and share how might they be knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week. That's a plain confirmation. So you're trying to do the opposite of what you normally do, which might seem very fake to everyone else because you have not yet mastered it. You've not yet mastered it is what I'm getting at. Then there's choice through default. So while you're installing this new software, should I say, in your hard drive, your mental hard drive, you're gonna have to like navigate through the difficulties of every single process that you come across, because some people are like, something's weird, what's up, something's off, you're not yourself, you're something's very weird. So you're trying to navigate through all this misunderstandings while installing this new software in your own system, and you're like, what do I do? Right? And that is what is actually knocking you out, because you're trying not to do what you normally do, right? You're trying to change the system, the software system in your computer, and so because people are like, you're off, because at this moment in time you're consciously trying to do things, and you're not, because you're not masterful at it yet, you are having to think things through, to go through the steps, like one at a time. Okay, so you consciously have to go through the steps and be like, yeah, I did this, I did this, I did that, to make sure that you've gone through the process correctly. And I feel like you're like nearing the end of this process, so you're trying to you try to seem like you've mastered it, but you haven't. So people are like, something's off. That's what it is. You haven't mastered this technique yet. That is interesting. That is so interesting. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but this has been a Intuitiveness. I've been getting at the same idea throughout every single part of this reading, even though it's so. I don't know about you guys. For me, I find it extremely interesting. Like, everything shifted. That's the shift that other readers were talking about. Oh my god! Okay, you're gonna get to this point at some point, but it's like, so for years I've been trying to install this new software within my own system, and yeah, right, and it looked like I was half. So I have tried to install this new system in my heart. Tried to install this new software in my mind, and it looked like I was kind of like moving forward, but like in a very saccadé. So it didn't look fluid, is what I'm getting at. It didn't look fluid. It looked chopped up, and it didn't look steady. It looked, like I said, chopped up. It looked step, like there were steps. Like, I was like, what are you doing? You're not fluent. You're not mastering this, basically. So everything I talk about from this point on might be in regards to this, that you haven't mastered it yet. This is very interesting. Now, this is what switching timelines looks like. Holy shiznit. Damn! That's cool. Okay. I digress. You see, I've been loyal to this. I have been loyal to what the divine has told me to do, and I have been loyally trying to install this into my system, my software, and it is getting to that point. Holy shiznit. Okay, I'm just saying. You're gonna get to this point and you're gonna be like, holy god, oh my god, it's gonna be a freaking party in your head. Like, oh my god, I did it. I digress. Okay, so where were we at? Yeah, and when I got in for my investigators, because it looks chopped up, doesn't look fluid yet, it is going to look like you're indirectly trying to do something, and it's gonna look like you're gonna continuously be hitting a wall, right? When in actuality you want to hit. So imagine you trying to throw a ball high enough for it to go over a wall, and you're continuously going to hit the wall, and you're not going to be the arch that you create with the ball is not going to be high enough yet for it to like go over the wall, is what I'm getting at. And you're trying to consciously figure this out, but this is something that you have to do unconsciously. So you're going to do it as many times as it takes until it gets from conscious to unconscious, is basically what I'm getting at. And the faucet of my neighbor started, so that might be confirmation as well. Alright, so that was it for my loyalists, okay? So now on to my enthusiasts, the individuals who intuitively know what to place in the center of attention, how long to keep it there, for what aim, and what purpose, okay? So, please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my enthusiasts, please come forward and share. Are they knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? Slightly. But imperceivably, so because of that, it looks, but because of that, it looks like you might or you might not be knocking yourself out. This is interesting. Alright, so the different factor between you guys, my gorgeous enthusiasts, and everyone else that I've done up to this point is that some of them might have been knocking themselves out, but you don't look it. That's it. Okay. So how might they possibly look like they might be knocking themselves out? I don't know how to like maneuver through all this minutia at this point. This is new. So please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my enthusiasts, please come forward and share. And you got choice through default, resolving negative belief about yourself, conscious, universal sign, reaction, and conditional choice. The only thing that's not upright is the indirectness. The only thing that hasn't flipped is the indirectness. So yeah. Okay, so you are trying to be unconscious about this. You're trying to follow your unconscious mind, and I look like I have a tomato for a forehead because I scratched my head. It's so dang hot in here. Anyway, I digress. So you're trying to be, so you're so magical at this point. You look like you have mastered this to a T, but you still aren't quite there yet. So you might be following universal signs. You might be doing you might look like you're trying to do something different, but you're not really achieving it. There's something that you think that's not, there might be something that you think is not completely on par with what you should be doing at this point. So you're trying to resolve a negative belief about yourself, which might not even be the case. And you're trying to choose something through default, but not fully. So you're kind of like this middle ground. You're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, I don't know if I'm doing this wrong, but all I know is I'm doing something. But you're so close to mastery that it's practically imperceivable. That is where people are like, something's a bit off with you at this moment. I don't know what it is. Something's a bit off, and it's annoying. it looks annoying to everyone around you. It also is annoying to you, but people don't necessarily understand that you're trying to install new software within your own system. And that time you take to get there might be a little longer, but it is going to take the time that it takes, is all I have to say. Okay, so that was it for my enthusiasts, okay? So now, on to my protectors, okay? The individuals who intuitively know what to keep safe, how long to keep it safe for what aim and what purpose, okay? So please, God, angels, and guides, anyone from the highest good who has a message for my protectors. Are they knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? Maybe? No. Okay, so it's a no. No. Yes. Yes. No. So it's like a tennis match. You're going yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Is that a slight tinge of maybe? But I feel like the maybe is going to come because of someone who knows that you're going through this process is going to tell you, hey, I see what you're doing there. Rein yourself back in because you're completely knocking yourself out. Dang it. So please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my protectors, please come forward and share how might they be knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week. And you got conditional choice to default, conscious, and universal signs. You're trying to not choose through condition. You're trying to avoid choosing because you have to, which is choosing through default. You're trying to go through the steps of getting to mastery, but because you're not quite there yet, you're looking out for universal signs that the choice that you made might not be the right choice. Okay, so that was it for my protectors. Alright, so now on to my chameleons, the individuals who intuitively know what intuitive style to use in any given situation. Alright, so please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my chameleons, please come forward and share. Are they knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? I'm getting that there's other factors at play, so something is going to try to grab your attention. And you're like, no, let me do my work, please. Please stop trying to grab my attention. I'm concentrating on something. Dang, do you have kids? I've done this many times to my dad. Many times. So, no, you aren't. But possibly this might be happening because of outside circumstances that are like, shut up, shut up, shut up. You're trying to like not listen to, but it's really, really, really hard, especially if you have a child who's extremely needy at some point. And this was when it was in my 20s. Because this was after my accident, so I had to relearn everything all over again. Yes. So, please, God, angels, and guides, anyone for the highest good who has a message for my chameleons, please come forward and share. Are they How are they knocking themselves out of their intuitiveness this week? Well, a condition is knocking you out, okay? A condition is knocking you out. You're trying to not be conscious. You're trying to be you're trying to do this as unconsciously as possible, meaning you're trying to be as masterful at this as you possibly can, but to the people around you, it looks like you are hitting a wall constantly, and you're trying to hit the ball over the wall, but you're hitting the wall constantly and you're not really getting your calculations correctly, and it's kind of annoying to you, but it's also annoying to them, because it's like you're in this halfway period. You're no longer the old you. You're not exactly the new you yet, and you're trying to get there, but it's like you're trying, but you're not really getting there, and it's like, put us out of our misery, dang it. Stop trying. Just go back to what you were before and let us be in peace. But you're like, no, I don't like what I was before, and so I'm going to work towards becoming what I want to become. And it is going to take the time that it takes, so be patient with me, but I'm not stopping. So I think that's the little bimod, or the little difference is what I'm getting at. Okay, so wait, then you have choice through default. Yeah, choice through default. So the choice through default is what other people are telling you, like, we are not comfortable with you trying to change yourself, so please go back to the way you were before. And you're like, nay, I'm going to be this new me, so leave me alone. Okay? So that is what I have for my chameleons. Okay? So what I'm getting at, how I tie this into what I'm actually living myself, is that, my videos might not seem as fluid as they once did, because my computer is making me stop the recording for the video not to be completely lost, and it looks kind of like chopped up, is what I'm getting at, but it's gonna look more and more seamless as time goes on. Probably because I'm going to buy a system that's going to allow me to record as much as I need to, in any case. So this is basically what I'm getting at, is that collectively we are trying to move from one operating system to another operating system, and it is taking the time that it's going to take. But it is what it is, right? So this work that you've been doing on yourself is definitely leading you to where you want to get to. It might take a longer than expected, but you are going to get there, okay? So, my gorgeous triple tears, this is all that I have for you guys this week for this video series. If you like this, and if you would like me to go deeper into your specific situation, please contact me at the email in the box below, and it'll be my pleasure to assist. In that same box, you'll find a little description of this video and the email you can send donations to on PayPal if you feel so called. And with that being said, my gorgeous triple tears, I wish you guys all a very good week, and I will see you next time, okay? Bye.